International Relations Center is the Global Enrichments and Mobility. So this is focusing really to the mobility of the student. And then we have also marketing and recruitment. So this is really responsible to promote our programs. And Kongzi Institute focusing on all research collaborations with China. So quickly moving to academic programs. So we are broad-based research intensive university. So as mentioned, we have 14 faculties. So these are the list of the 14 faculties. 2 academies, and then 2 centers. We have 2 institutes and also 4 research clusters. So on the right is the list of the programs that we currently offer in the universities. So I have mentioned earlier that we have about 2,100 academic staff, and then 266 of them are international staff. So it's about 13% of our staffs are international staff. And this is the countries where our international staff are coming from. So the first is from Japan, the most, and the second one is from India. So from Indonesia is in this number 6. Yeah. In terms of international students, for undergraduate students, we have about 1,000 international students at undergraduate level. There is not many because we have regulations to cap the maximum number of international staff. International student at undergraduate programs. Yeah, only 15% caps. And then huge majority of them are coming from China, and the second one baru dari Indonesia. Untuk postgraduate, we don't have caps, so we don't have the limits. At the moment, we have 4,700 international students, postgraduate international students. Also, huge majority is from China, and then the second one is from Indonesia. Our students are also active in mobility, inbound and outbound. Last year, there were approximately 6,000 students inbound coming to mostly from Indonesia. And then for outbound, 4,000 student go outside and also mostly go to Indonesia. So quickly, in terms of research and international recognitions, as we all aware that now research become multidisciplinary in nature, there is a need to coordinate people for different background. So there was initiative from university to establish this, what is called as research clusters. And one of the responsibility of the research cluster is to promote multidisciplinary research. So to coordinate all people from different backgrounds. So even though research may be conducted at the faculty level, but at the university level, there was initiative to coordinate the multidisciplinary research. And we are very active in research and also producing scientific outcome in the form of papers, for instance. So this is the numbers which correspond to our partner institute in collaborations in the form of joint publications from the last 5 years. So as we can see here, for instance, below, for Asia Pacific, we co-authorship with institutions of almost 2,000 different institutions. Yeah? And then from Europe is 1,800, North America, more than 700, more than 200 South America, and then also more than 300 in Africa, more than 500 institutions in Middle East. And because of that, we are also very happy that we receive international recognitions in the form of ranking. So we are in number 70 according to the QS in the world, and the number 9 in Asia, 55 according to Time Higher Educations, and number 50 in UI Green Matrix. Yeah. Now moving quickly toward Faculty of Engineering, just a quick history of the faculty date back to 1950 with the establishments of engineering department. It's still very general at that time. And then the first department, the first programs offered at that time was civil engineering. Then since then, the program changed to become departments. Many departments were introduced, including mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, chemical engineering, biomedical engineering, and we have also engineering design and manufacture. There were restructuring since then, and up to today, what we have is only 5 departments: mechanical engineering, civil engineering, chemical engineering, electrical engineering, and biomedical engineering. So this is the structure of our faculty management. So Professor Kahar is currently our dean. So he is assisted by 5 deputy deans. So deputy dean for undergraduate studies, postgraduate studies, student affairs, research, and the new one is the value creations and entrepreneurs. We have also 1 administrative manager and 5 head of departments, in which Professor Sulaiman is the head for civil engineering. Electrical engineering. So we have almost 2,000 students at the moment at undergraduate level. Yeah. So only 6% are international students. Most of the students are in mechanical engineering. This is the largest department. While for postgraduate students, there are about 700 students, 35% of them are international students. In terms of staff, we have 149 academic staff, with 13 of them are international staff, so about almost 9%. And if we look at the rank of the staff, so almost 17% are professors, 27% are associate professor, and majority of our staffs are in senior lecturers rank, which correspond to the entry level. So we have lots of young staff basically in our system. With that, I think I will conclude my talk. I will be happy later in the sessions to receive the questions, and thank you very much.
Terima kasih Mas Andri. Bagaimana kalau kita, karena mahasiswa kami sudah banyak yang menunggu di online Zoom, jadi saya persilahkan untuk Prof. Sulaiman dan Ibu Farazila untuk di depan, karena agar terlihat di kamera-kamera kami oleh mahasiswa kami, karena kalau mahasiswanya datang semua sepertinya nggak cukup, Bu. Jadi kita ketemu sama mahasiswa kami lewat online saja.
Terletak di dataran tinggi di Pulau Jawa, Kota Malang terkenal sebagai kota pendidikan dengan cuaca yang sejuk sepanjang tahun, wisata alam yang menakjubkan, dan bangunan bersejarah yang ikonik. Pada tahun 1963 di Kota Malang diresmikan Universitas Brawijaya dan menjadi salah satu perguruan tinggi terkemuka di Indonesia. Sebagai himpunan sumber daya pendukung yang menyelenggarakan dan mengelola pendidikan akademik dan atau pendidikan profesi dalam satu rumpun disiplin ilmu pengetahuan dan teknologi di Universitas Brawijaya, Fakultas Teknik berperan penting dalam memajukan bidang keteknikan melalui pendidikan, penelitian, dan pengabdian masyarakat.
Menghadapi dinamika pengelolaan pendidikan tinggi di masa depan yang semakin meningkat, Fakultas Teknik Universitas Brawijaya siap menghadapi tantangan untuk mencapai tujuan pada era Industri 4.0 dan era Society 5.0 dengan mengedepankan semangat kerja, tuntas, dan berintegritas. Fakultas Teknik Universitas Brawijaya juga fokus pada penyelenggaraan sistem pendidikan yang inovatif dan aplikatif untuk meningkatkan daya saing mahasiswa dan menghasilkan lulusan yang unggul dan berkompeten. Pencapaian prestasi dan peningkatan reputasi juga dilakukan melalui kolaborasi dan sinergi, kegiatan penelitian dan pengabdian kepada masyarakat, menjadikan Fakultas Teknik yang inovatif, kolaboratif, dan berdaya saing internasional. Sejalan dengan profesionalisme dan integritas, Fakultas Teknik Universitas Brawijaya akan terus berkontribusi bagi kemajuan masyarakat dan pembangunan nasional Negara Kesatuan Republik Indonesia. Together, we do the best.
Untuk menjamin terlaksananya harmonisasi antar unit kerja, pencapaian kinerja yang optimal dan rekognisi di tingkat nasional maupun internasional, Fakultas Teknik senantiasa melaksanakan sistem penjaminan mutu internal yang meliputi penetapan, pelaksanaan, evaluasi, pengendalian, dan peningkatan program-program kami secara berkesinambungan. Sesuai dengan standar nasional pendidikan tinggi, kami selalu memastikan tercapainya kualitas pendidikan yang sangat baik melalui target akreditasi nasional dan internasional. Seluruh program sarjana kami telah terakreditasi unggul atau A oleh BAN PT atau LAM Teknik. 2 program studi telah tersertifikasi terakreditasi internasional dari AUN-QA dan IAB. Setiap tahun, Fakultas Teknik menerima sekitar 1.300 mahasiswa yang akan menuntut ilmu pada 8 program sarjana, 7 program magister, 4 program doktor, dan 1 program profesi. Kami memiliki 18 guru besar aktif, 132 doktor, dan 272 dosen dengan reputasi unggul pada penelitian dan publikasi ilmiah. Terdapat juga 63 laboratorium untuk mendukung kegiatan pendidikan dan penelitian oleh dosen maupun mahasiswa. Fakultas Teknik berkomitmen untuk terus meningkatkan kompetensi dosen dan mahasiswa, terutama menghadapi era digitalisasi. Sembilan departemen yang bernaung di bawah Fakultas Teknik adalah Departemen Teknik Sipil, Departemen Teknik Mesin, Departemen Teknik Pengairan, Departemen Teknik Elektro, Departemen Arsitektur, Departemen Perencanaan Wilayah dan Kota, Departemen Teknik Industri, Departemen Teknik Kimia, Program Studi Program Profesi Insinyur, Program Magister di Fakultas Teknik, Teknik Sipil, Teknik Mesin, Teknik Pengairan, Teknik Elektro, Arsitektur Lingkungan Binaan, Perencanaan Wilayah dan Kota, Teknik Industri. Program doktor di Fakultas Teknik, Ilmu Teknik Sipil, Ilmu Teknik Mesin, Teknik Sumber Daya Air, Teknik Elektro. Fakultas Teknik banyak menyediakan fasilitas-fasilitas untuk mendukung suasana akademik yang meliputi ruang kelas yang memadai, ruang diskusi yang nyaman, laboratorium, perpustakaan, tempat ibadah, kantin, pusat olahraga, dan pusat kegiatan mahasiswa. Fakultas Teknik mempunyai BEM, Badan Eksekutif Mahasiswa, Himpunan Mahasiswa, Departemen dan Lembaga Semi-Otonom sebagai wadah untuk melaksanakan kegiatan kokurikuler dan ekstrakurikuler mahasiswa, terutama dalam bidang minat, bakat, dan kesejahteraan mahasiswa sesuai dengan aspirasi mahasiswa yang disalurkan melalui organisasi yang ada. Fakultas Teknik dipercaya akan semakin berkembang melalui kerjasama dengan berbagai stakeholder. Program pertukaran pelajar, double degree, program visiting profesor, kolaborasi riset, dan kolaborasi konferensi internasional. Fakultas Teknik mendorong seluruh sivitas akademika untuk mendapatkan prestasi yang baik di bidang akademik maupun non-akademik. Prestasi dosen berupa paten atas inovasi penelitian meningkat setiap tahunnya. Para mahasiswa juga memperoleh prestasi yang membanggakan di tingkat nasional maupun internasional dengan semangat inovasi dan kolaborasi. Lulusan Fakultas Teknik Profesional, tangguh, siap membangun negeri dan meningkatkan kesejahteraan masyarakat. Fakultas Teknik Universitas Brawijaya akan bekerja keras memberikan prestasi terbaik untuk pembangunan berkelanjutan Negara Kesatuan Republik Indonesia.
Satu, dua, tiga, teknik.
Kunjungi kami di teknik.ub.ac.id.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi buat mahasiswa Fakultas Teknik yang ada di online Zoom hari ini. Thank you for preparing yourself to join our guest lecture. Ini nggak apa-apa ya Prof. Sulaiman sama Bu Farajila kalau saya ngomongnya gado-gado juga. Karena nanti Bu Endang sudah menyediakan gado-gado juga buat kita. I am very pleased to see you here. Welcome to today's guest lecture delivered by Prof. Sulaiman and Ibu Farajila. Anak-anak bebas nanti bertanya, dan saya malah menyarankan kalau mahasiswa untuk berbahasa Inggris walaupun salah tidak apa-apa, karena Bu Femi juga salah tidak apa-apa, karena Bu Femi dari awal masih kecil juga bahasanya bahasa Indonesia, bahkan bahasa Lombok karena saya asli orang Lombok. Jadi itu bebas buat anak-anak, asalkan anak-anak nanti di Zoom meeting makin banyak bertanya, makin banyak tertarik. Insya Allah ini hari Jumat dan siapa tahu tertarik dan doa kita diijabah untuk segera bisa ikut join di Universiti Malaya. Amin. Oke, begin the presentation. Sebelumnya saya memperkenalkan dua presenter. Our first presenter, Prof. Sulaiman. Oh, maaf, ini salah jadwal yang dikasih Bu Rini. Maaf anak-anak, ini pertama ternyata dari Bu Farazila, kemudian terima kasih banyak ya Bu Farazila, kemudian nanti dilanjutkan oleh Prof. Sulaiman. Untuk mempersingkat waktu, silakan Bu Farazila, time is yours.
Saya berdiri ya?
Berdiri bebas Bu. Kalau saya berdiri duduk sama aja.
Oke. Saya turun di bawah ya. Oke. Lagi dekat dengan monitornya. Oke. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi. Selamat pagi. Terima kasih banyak-banyak pihak Fakulti Teknik menjemput menerima kami, kunjungan kami dengan sangat-sangat hangat. Ya, saya terkejut dengan sambutan ini. Okey. Kami pun ingin menjemput jika ada kelapangan di masa hadapan datang ke Universiti Malaya. Okey. Saya akan cuba berbicara berbahasa Malaysia dan juga berbahasa Inggeris ya. Okay. First of all, I would like to introduce first myself. Nama saya Farazila Yusof, datang daripada Department of Mechanical Engineering. Okay. At the moment, I'm holding another positions in central level as the director for the Center for Foundation Studies in Science. Okay, so this center is usually preparing the students as a transition before they go for the bachelor degree. Okay, it's a one year program. All right. Untuk hari ini saya akan berbicara mengenai program-program yang ada di Universiti Malaya, dan juga mungkin ada sedikit saya tunjukkan bidang yang apa ada di Universiti Malaya, dan juga mungkin ada peluang-peluang pelajar, peluang-peluang para akademik untuk bersama-sama menjalankan research di Universiti Malaya. Right. As a start, in Faculty of Engineering, we divided our program into 3 different categories. The first one is bio-research program, which is the program, the students or the candidate that enroll to this program doing research totally, which is we have a PhD, Doctor of Philosophy, and also Master of Engineering Science. Another category is actually we have the program for the coursework. So program ini specifically untuk master sahaja. Coursework in mechanical engineering, safety, health and environment engineering. The first one is under Department of Mechanical. The second one is under chemical engineering. The Master of Systems Engineering is under Electrical Department, and Master of Road Safety Engineering under Department of Civil Engineering. The latest edition that we have is ODL, Open Distance Learning Master Program, where the student can be anywhere in the world and then took our master course. So we have to start, we have 2 programs, Master of Biomedical Engineering and also Master of Safety, Health and Environment Engineering. Kalau macam coursework itu, pelajarnya kena hadir di campus untuk attend all the lectures lah. Tapi kalau di ODL itu boleh ada di mana saja. Alright. So I just show the requirement for the PhD program. The minimum requirement for PhD should be have a master degree in any related engineering field or equivalent. If the candidate previously S2 master coursework, CGPA-nya sekurang-kurangnya 3.0 dan ke atas. Jika kelasnya sebelum ini dikondak dalam bahasa Inggeris, tidak perlu ambil syarat IELTS lah. Alright. Untuk Master of Engineering Science, which is by research, minimum requirement should be a bachelor degree in engineering or any related fields and other conditions that meet the Senate approval, because we have the requirement, but this one is a general requirements. Similar juga perlu English requirement for the international students. Right. So in terms of the duration of the studies, for the bio-research program, PhD, minimum is 4 semester or equivalent to 2 years, while the maximum is 12 semester, which is more or less is like 6 years. Master by research, minimum 2 semester and maximum is 8 semester. And similar like the Master of Engineering coursework and Master of Engineering ODL. So Master of Engineering by coursework, the student can finish, usually can finish their study within a year, meaning that they have 2 long semester and 1 short semester. Is actually possible. It's possible. Because previously we have a lot of students from Indonesia that taking this program because the duration is very short. They can complete within a year. In terms of program structure, at the one that I show you is minimum for the PhD, minimum 4 semester, but in actual, it's not easy to complete within 2 years for PhD. So this one is the most ideal cases lah, because in order to graduate PhD, there are several requirements that the students need to fulfill. Okay, for example, the student need to take the research methodology, need to present or defend their proposals, and then need to defend as well their candidature. At the same time, need to publish 2 ISI, 2 journal, and also need to write a thesis, and finally, need to have the viva voce. Okay, so this is the ideal case usually for the PhD students, right? For Master of Engineering by research, this is the flow that they need to take: research methodology, proposal defense, candidate defense, publish 1 journal paper, and submit thesis, and then they have the viva voce sessions after they get the comments from the examiners. Okay. In terms of area that perhaps the student or any of the academics here would like to know, okay, Dr. Andri already mentioned in the Faculty of Engineering, we have 5 main departments compared to the Universiti Brawijaya. You have 9, we have only 5 because we split actually. If architecture is another faculty. So we have main streams of engineering department, which is civil engineering. Okay, so here is the list of the niche areas or expertise that we have. This is the main. Inside that, there are a lot more. I mean, like the main niche area in the departments. Okay, like in civil, we have water environment, geotechnical, structural, transportation, etc. Under biomedical engineering, okay, so we have various niche areas such as bioelectronics, biosignals, biomaterials, biomechanics, and the computational modeling. Okay, under electrical engineering, which is the head of the electrical engineering is Prof. Sulaiman. We have various as well, the areas such as communication, control system, power, robotics. Under chemical engineering, this is the list of the areas that perhaps could we can actually collaborate. Okay, chemical reactions, safety environment, process control, biotechnology, even food also they have in chemical engineering. And under mechanical engineering, we have these main areas. I was the former department head before become a director. So if you would like to know more about the stuff in mechanical engineering, then I can answer it, inshallah. Okay. Even myself, I did in design and manufacturing, specifically in additive manufacturing. Okay. As the research university, the top management encourage us to equip our facility with various equipment that can perhaps enhance our research. Okay, in Faculty of Engineering, we have 175 laboratories. These contain all the departments. The one that I'm showing here is some of the laboratory that we have. Okay, there are a lot more. Okay, if you would like to know more, then we have the link for this list of laboratories. Okay, so example of the laboratories, like in electrical, we have high voltage lab, power electronics, and renewable energy lab. In mechanical engineering, we have tribology lab and advanced manufacturing lab. Okay, in civil engineering, heavy structure lab, body performance and motion analysis lab, environmental lab, and for the chemical engineering, we have metal transfer lab. Okay, so the picture here shows that very clear without students. We ask the student to go out and then we take a picture. Okay. Okay. Before I move into training and development program, perhaps some students that in online would like to know more the opportunities if you want to enroll in Faculty of Engineering as a master student or PhD students. Okay. for master student by research, usually we didn't give any scholarships, okay? But for master research, master program by research, usually they can enroll and apply for graduate research assistantships, okay? However, this scheme must attach with the supervisor that have a grant, okay? So that the supervisor can pay the student allowances and at the same time can help to reduce the tuition fee. Okay, there is a scheme in Universiti Malaya. Okay, for PhD program S3, yeah. So in PhD program, we have a similar like master by research scheme, which is GRA, Graduate Research Assistantship. And another one, Universiti Malaya, they have a scheme for they have a scholarship scheme for international students. Okay, I already checked the website. At the moment, still closed. They will open perhaps before the new coming semester, which is in October. Okay, maybe later if we have the information, we can pass to the Dean of Academics. All right, that is the opportunity. If you would like to enroll as the international student and require any scholarship or assistantship, we call it, to sustain the living and also the fee in UM. All right. As a student, okay, they are very important to have support, okay, because usually for by research students, because usually if by research students, the learning curve is independent, okay, compared to the coursework. Usually the coursework student come to the class and then learn in a semester, take the exam, finish, okay. It's different for the PhD or master by research, where the student need to have motivations to learn by themselves. Okay, what we did in faculty is we give them extra training. Okay, this is not compulsory, but is voluntary basis. So the student have an option to join if they think that is related or they wanted to know more the knowledge that perhaps could help their study. What we have here is some of the program that we already run for the previous years. Okay, we do have the tips for pitching competitions. Why we have tips for pitching competition? Because nowadays most of the competition require a pitching, or if you wanted to apply a grant whatsoever, require a pitching. So we train the student in their master or PhD level to make them easy to pitch the idea. Okay, and we also give a knowledge on how to find a literature, how to find how the ethicals in doing a research and etc. So this is some of the courses or training that we provide to the student, so that their journey in completing their research is become smooth. All right. Another important, I think this is based on my experience. Okay. Even though you are students in particular area, okay, you should also have collect all the information, the experience throughout the journey of PhD. Okay, so one of the most important activities perhaps that the students can join is a competitions. Okay, in Universiti Malaya, okay, we have the 3-minute thesis competitions. So this 3-minute thesis competitions is the platform to the student to deliver their idea of whatever they are doing in research in 3 minutes. Okay, the winner of this competition we will send into the international level, usually in Australia. Okay. So by doing this, it boosts the confidence of the student, okay, as well as they can actually share their ideas, share their research to the public. Okay. Apart from that, I also encourage students to participate in innovation competitions. Okay. So when they have when they have the experience of explaining their project to the public, they can get a feedback. Okay. That feedback is a value added to their research. Okay. And after they're finished, they can use the experience to actually deliver to the public. Another part that very important is the mobility. Okay, this mobility we did locally, okay, and also we do internationally. They are can be around the university in Malaysia as well as the overseas institutions. Okay, perhaps next year or this year I can send my student here, and I can receive also a student from Brawijaya. Okay. Because I think it's very important to the student, okay, to get more knowledge, more ideas about their research from other researchers as well. Okay, so most of my students, because I have collaborations with Japan, UK, Poland, so I send my student there, and their professors from overseas come to Okay, so we can actually strengthen the networks, and I believe that University Brawijaya has a good facility so that we can actually exchange the students. I also encourage a student to do a conferences. Okay, I think similar to here, you encourage students to do conferences and etc. because this is the platform to the student to tell other researchers to get more network during the conference. Okay. Apart from that, we have the industrial and societal exposure. Okay. They actually, because in Faculty of Engineering, we have industry partner that put their equipment in our faculty. So apart from just doing a research, they are sharing a knowledge also with the industry, and industry sharing their knowledge to the students. Okay, there are two ways of the transferring the knowledge. And for the societal exposure, they have non-academic activities such as go to the orphan house, do a cleaning, go socialize, because in Faculty of Engineering, we have the postgraduate club. Okay, so they arrange many activities to ensure that all the students not only excel in education and academic, but also have the society engagement. Talking about mobility, I just mapped the countries that we send the student either in undergraduate level as well as in a postgraduate level. Okay. So this is the places that we send our students, including the Indonesia. All right. Another thing that perhaps could help the student is a close relation with the management in the faculty. Okay, because we don't want to lose the touch with the student. The Faculty of Engineering arranged the town hall. Okay, this town hall is actually the platform for the postgraduate students to deliver the information, to complain sometimes. Okay, but as the management, we need to hear from the student as well. So Dean allocate certain times, okay, to the student, gather everybody and hear from them what they require, what they need, and if it's really, really concerning, we will help the students. Okay, this is a very good discussions among the dean and also the postgraduate students. All right, I think this is the last one. Okay, so this is the students' testimonial that we have. Because of we have arranged a lot of activities to them, they are very, very happy to study in UM. So I hope that we can work together. Okay, there are many areas that we can collaborate. Okay, they are either we can have a joint supervision, we can have joint authorships in terms of paper and etc. in our projects. So if you have any question, feel free to email the Deputy Dean of Postgraduate Studies, okay? Or you can look into the website to see the programs or the activities or the projects that we have. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih. Thank you, Ibu Farazila. So without further ado, for the second presenter by Professor Sulaiman. Topic publishing in high impact journal, ya. Okay. So Professor Sulaiman.
Okay. Just.
Floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you. Mbak Femiana.
Oh, iya, Mbak Femiana.
Okay. Wakil-wakil dekan, ketua-ketua jabatan or head of department, dosen and students of Brawijaya University. Okay, so thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thanks to organizer to invite me, to allow me to share my talk on the publications, to share my experience on publication. Okay, so this is just sharing sessions. I mean, this through my experience. Okay, I'm from the Department of Electrical Engineering. My research is in photonics area. Photonics actually new areas that we work on photon instead of electron. So we use photon, we manipulate photon, we manipulate light to make the new optical devices. Okay, but today I'm not talking about photonic. I will be talking about how to publish in high impact journal. So why publishing is important? First of all, I think in this modern day, in those days, a lot of people not going to the university, only a few people. But today, almost everybody got a degree, the first degree. So I think more people will go to the higher degree. So we do master and PhD. Okay, so in the master and PhD, so the most important thing that we teach is actually on to have idea, to implement idea, and to present the ideas, and also writing. So we teach two important skills, presentation and also writing. So writing is very important. When we go outside, we do business, for example, we need to write proposal. So because whatever we write, because if we want to ask money, big money, so we cannot just go and just ask money like that. So we need to prepare the document, proposal. Document is important. Technical document or any document, I think they have format. Same thing with report, scientific report or paper publication, they have a format. So it's not difficult. So because in those days when I joined industry, before academic, I have a chance to work in Japanese company. So by working, you know, in when I was young in those days, so I see the boss must write report every day. So people are talking, the CEO must write report every day. So they must write report every day. So for us, so we thinking, oh, very difficult to become boss. So I asked my mentor in the company. So they say it's not difficult because all this technical report they have format. So they have a certain format. So everybody follow the same format. So they can write report every day. So the same thing in the academic world. So we need to write. So why publishing is important? So why we need to publish? So first, actually, if you ask me why I publish a paper, so my answer is to get feedback. To get feedback from experts, to get rejection. So actually, if you get rejection, you get a lot of feedback. So you get positive feedback. So actually, publishing is actually to share our idea. So to share your result and communicate with experts in your field. So this actually to gain more knowledge on your topic. If you don't write, you won't get extra knowledge. You don't get guidance because you are not communicating. So the important, we need to communicate with the expert. So in the academic world, we communicate through publications. So when you share your ideas, you get the feedback, and the feedback is positive, and then you become stronger. You become feel stronger in your work, and you know you are doing the right thing. So you are walking on the right path. So this is important. So it's also enable you to get familiar with other people's works. When you publish, you need to read. You need to read other people's work, so you know what other expert is doing. Okay, so you can learn from there, and then you can join conference to share your findings. And in the academic world, actually, it's important publication because it's trend. It's everywhere. To get PhD, for example, in you need to publish 2 papers in ISI journal, and also to get promoted as professor, you need to have a certain number of publications everywhere. So this the world trend, not only in Malaysia, in Indonesia, and also in European country also. In Western world also, this publication is very important. So the best practice in research. So you need to start with read. You need to read. For students, you need to read. So I always advise my students. So during my PhD time, master time, in those days, I always read publication. So to write one paper, you cannot read one paper. It's not working like that. So you read one paper, you write one paper. It's not working like that. So you need to read 100 papers to publish one paper. So it's working like that. So you need to read a lot of paper, but if people say 100 papers, it's not read book. It's book to 100 pages, you need to read 100. It's quite difficult. Paper is only 3 to 4 pages. 3 to 4 pages, so you can read. So you take about 5 minutes to read one paper. So you can read 3 to 4 papers per day. So when I was a student in those days, so I read 3 to 4 papers. And as a professor, so I read more. When I write in the paper, so we need to read. By writing, you must read. You read right, read right. So end up you read a lot of papers. So read is very important, and try to work within your limitation. So this a lot of people not work within their limitation. Of course, we are from the third world country. Our funding is very limited. and we need to collaborate because we don't have enough funding. So we cannot work in silo because we have limited resources. So we need to work within our limitation. So not necessarily you do the very advanced topic, rocket science, for example. It's no need to do that to learn physics. To learn physics, you can do a simple thing. Because in academic world, actually we want to learn the principle of physics or principle of engineering. So you need to know how the electron behave or photon behave. So you don't need to have very advanced, expensive project. So you can have a simple project but learn physics or learn electrical engineering, learn engineering. So you need to work within your limitations. So equip your lab is, I think, this for young lecturers. So because our budget is limited, so we need to equip our lab slowly. So we need, every time we got budget or funding, in Malaysia, we only get 200K. So maybe 100,000 ringgit just for equipment. So maybe we spend every time we buy only one equipment. Right? So the second budget, so we buy another equipment. So we accumulate. So we need to have plan to equip our lab so that we can sustain our publications. And selecting and managing students is important for academician. So select students, some people, they only take first class student. They must be 4 flat student, 3.9, 3.8. You take the students. But through my experience, because I produce more than 100 PhDs. Okay, 100 PhDs. And some of them now become a professor. I have one of my students from China become professor, from Malaysia also. There is that become professor. So this important to select student, not only take the first class student, because we need to work in a group. Research is actually working in a team. So we need people to implement our ideas. So the clever people, they don't want to implement other people's ideas. If you first class, you 4 flat, so you don't want to implement other people's ideas, but everybody have 24 hours. Everybody have 24 hours. So we need to have workers. Workers, so we can take also. So in our group, so we need to have like pyramid. So one clever people and a few just above 3.0, but not necessarily a first class. So this is very important in selecting and managing students. Collaboration. Collaboration is very important, especially for the third world country like Malaysia, Indonesia, because we have limited funding. So we need to collaborate. Collaborate is like friendship. Collaboration is like friendship. It takes time. You cannot get output immediately with collaborations. Today I come here, I know somebody from electrical department, for example. So I work together. First, I know them. So we talking and maybe we sharing something. So the student can come to me and I will send my student. So we have joint publication, we writing, sharing on the how to write. They write half, we write half. So it's time. Right? So I have many successful collaborations. So I have collaboration is one of institution in India for more than 10 years. So we produce more than, I think, about 100 papers. 100 papers together, and they supply me with materials. That very expensive material cannot find in other place. because of they make the optical fibers. So because I use a lot of optical fibers and novel optical fiber that is not really commercially available, so we can use for publication. So they give me free the 100,000 of ringgit of materials. But I need to give back because friendship, you cannot just take. So collaboration is like friendship, you cannot just take, you must give back. So every time he give me materials, I make sure I can publish, put their name in my paper. So this give and take is very important to sustain our relationship or collaboration. So it takes time. So after 10 years, we got 100 papers. So I have very good collaboration with Airlangga University, for example, this faculty, the physics department. So we have collaboration more than 10 years. So we have the joint publication, I think more than 100 papers. More than 100 papers together. So they send in me the student from Airlangga. Script C student, they send me a script C student for 1 month, for example, to do work in my lab. So in my lab, because Indonesia, they can come without visa for 1 month. So they stay in the lab, and because Airlangga University, one of top university in Indonesia, they are very good students because they have a lot of students and they send the best student. So the student normally very good. So they work very hard. Indonesia work very hard, and then we can produce publication from there. So I took one student from Airlangga that she did script C with me, come for 1 month, so we get one publication. So she only got 2.9 CGPA. 2.9 is actually it's not qualified to enter UM, but because in those I use my influence to get in. So she did master for 1 year. She did master for 1 year, did PhD, continue with PhD 3 years. I partially support. I support little bit lah, but she very hardworking. So after she got PhD, she do the postdoc with go back to Indonesia, ITS as postdoc 1 year, and go to the Taiwan, and now she in the Denmark Technological University. In DTU is one of the best university in Europe, and they have photonic center there. It's one of the best in the world. So not necessarily you are 2.9 CGPA from the Airlangga University, okay, cannot work in the top research lab in Europe. So you can work. So the most important, what I see from my former student is actually hardworking. So she worked very hard because she come to Malaysia, she must finish. She must finish and she must go good job because, you know, the family is not really rich, so they need to support back family. So this is very important. I think we can initiate this later on. So collaboration very important. It's take time. It's a friendship must give and take. And of course, if you don't write paper, if you a lot of people they graduate from top university, for example, Cambridge. So they come back to Malaysia, but they don't want to publish. Actually, they say this idea is rubbish. It's not meet standard, so they didn't publish. Actually, after working 10 years, they didn't publish anything. But actually, so they didn't share anything with the people. So these people is actually selfish. So we need to write because to show that we are working. Because, for example, you can check what I'm doing. You go to the google.com, you write my name, you will see the publication, you can check what I'm doing. So publication is actually just to tell people that we are working. So this is important because we got salary. So we need to write. Yeah? So this is some of the best practice in research. And why we need to publish in Scopus ISI journals. Huh? So because whatever we write, if people cite our paper, so it's in database. Yeah? That's why if we publish in other out from Scopus or ISI, it's not recorded. Eh? So people cannot capture. Actually, the system cannot capture. So because of database, yeah? So if we write in Scopus ISI journal, so people can check about us. Huh? So people can check about our performance. So even so they can check within few minutes. Huh? Just go to the website and they can check our performance. Huh? So that's why it's important to publish in Web of Science or Scopus journals. Huh? Okay, so I explained a little bit how to write scientific paper. I think it's important for the student. So first question, have I got sufficient data to support my conclusion? Of course, you cannot write from nothing. Yeah? So you need to write from data. You need to have data. You need to do experiment. You need to do simulation, or you need to do literature study. For example, if you want to write the review paper. So you need to have graph. Data here is actually diagram, graph, image, and so on. So you need to have sufficient data. For example, you need to have 6 figures, for example, 6 figures. So first, what you need to do is actually to prepare figures. So when you do research, the first thing that you need to do is actually to prepare figures. So, and then you need how to prepare figures. You cannot follow your style. You need to follow from the expert. So you need to look to the typical journal. So you don't look the journal from Malaysia, for example. You need to look the common journal. The best you look from Nature. Because if you want to learn something, you need to learn that people better than you. If I want to learn physics, I don't go ask superior to ask about physics. I go to the top professor. So the same thing in the journals. So you need to go reputable journal. Of course, you can publish in lower rank journal, no problem. Publication, we don't care anywhere, but the way we work, how we present result, we need to learn from the expert. So you need to look to the typical journal. So how they prepare the result, how they prepare the figure. So the important is how they prepare the figure, we just follow that. And okay, so first you need to have data figures. And writing strategy, so don't wait, we need to write straight away actually. We need to do parallel actually. Some people, they wait to have enough result and they write. So actually the old idea, if you have idea, you do research and then write paper, is not used anymore. So now you need to, if you have idea, you need to start write. Okay, you read and write and do experiments. Of course, idea you come from reading. So you read, and to understand your idea, so you read more, and then you take some point from the papers and write. Yeah? And then do research. You know what type of result what type of figure that you need to have. So you do experiment to get that figure. So that to explain, okay, to explain what you understand. So you have idea, you write paper and do experiment. So this no, I cannot say is the best way lah, but this how most of people do. Okay, this can make we to force us to be clear, focus. If you don't write, you late in the writing, you not focus in your experiment. So you force us to be clear and focused. Okay, and because we write, we need to read. When you write, you need to read. So by reading, you understand more. So you clear what we don't understand. And if we don't know how to do experiment, for example, so we can have dialogue first. So we can ask people. So this open for us to ask people. So the purpose of your papers, actually, normally people say if you write paper, we write paper and give talk mainly to impress others, gain recognition, get promoted. So actually, but this is a fallacy. It's not really true. Actually, we write paper to communicate idea. So as I said, I write paper to get rejection because from the rejection, you get the feedback and you improve. Some referee, they explain to you in the feedback, they explain to you so you can get the new knowledge from there. So paper actually we use to communicate our ideas. So the greatest idea are useless if we keep them to yourself. So if you graduate from top university, Cambridge, but if you don't publish, so you don't contribute anything to the community. Okay, you don't contribute anything to the community, and you don't. So as human, we need to contribute something. So we need to share our knowledge. So how to share our knowledge is through the publications. So this. And when you write a paper, some people they want to put everything in their papers. So they have a 10 graph, for example, 10 results. So they want to put everything. So cannot, because your paper should have only one thing, one idea. You want to tell people, you must tell one thing. You cannot tell many things. So one idea only. So you need to tell one idea so that easy for you to construct the papers. Okay, if you want to tell many ideas, very difficult for you to construct. Because if you have two ideas, the problem statement will be two, it's not one. You know? So if you want to tell one idea, so the problem statement, the motivation is easy for you to write on the motivation and problem statement. Okay, so so one paper should have one idea. If you have more than one idea, you must write more papers. Okay. So narrative flow of the paper. Normally a paper or report, everything, they have the same format actually. So first you highlight the problem. Here is a problem. You need to tell the reader the problems. Okay, you must have problem. If you don't have problem, you create the problem. So you need to have a problem. And the problem must be interesting problem. So this important thing. The second, interesting problem. So how you want to tell people that your problem is interesting problem? So you use reference from the top journal. Okay, and new reference. You cannot use reference in 1970s. And you say you are interesting. Interesting problem means a lot of people doing. A lot of people do the similar work means your problem is interesting problem. So the reference must be new, must be up to date, and a lot of reference. You cannot say some student PhD, they go to Viva, they say nobody did. Nobody doing this, only me. So no reference. Actually, the student should be fair because they are solving not interesting problem. So the problem must be interesting. It cannot be only you doing this thing. So the problem should be unsolved problem. You need to tell the reader that the problem is unsolved problem. But you know, we scientists, we we are trained, we cannot lie. We always tell the truth. So it's opposite with the politician. They are training different. Politician, they train to lie. But as scientists, we train to tell the truth. But we not necessary for us to tell everything. Sometimes in the paper, you don't need to tell everything. But the result must be correct result. When you present result, you cannot fabricate the result because expert will know the result. You cannot cheat the scientist. We know. If our student fabricate result, we know. From the trend, from everything, we know that the result is the real result or fabricated result. So next, the idea. So you need to explain in the paper about your idea and how my idea works. Mean the methodology, how you do the experiment and then data. And then you need to compare your idea with other people's approach. So this important part here, if you want to send a high impact journal, they want to see the comparison. So you need to compare with other people's approach. Of course, you cannot compare with if other people get better result than us. Sometimes we cannot put in our paper. Very difficult us to justify, but because a lot of people doing the similar work, so you can find other paper that the result is worse than us, so we put in our papers. Okay, so people want to see on the comparison. So the structures of paper. So I think everybody knows the publication should have abstract, introduction, and should have introduction. They have on experimental part or simulation part or research methodology, and they have result and discussion, and they have conclusions. So I think. So how to write the abstract? Good abstract. So abstract is like the paper itself. So in the paper, you should have introduction, you should have methodology, you should have result, you should have discussion, and conclusion. So in the abstract, they need to have also these 5 points, 4 or 5 points. The first paragraph, you need to introduce or introduction. You need to tell the motivation or the purpose of the study. So the first sentence should be the purpose of the study. And so why your study is interesting? So you need to have on the experimental part, methodology. So the second sentence should be on the methodology. The third should have result. So some students, when they write paper, they don't put result. In the abstract, they must have also result because we writing scientific paper. Scientific paper should have result. And then important conclusion. The last part is important conclusion. And the trend now, the abstract is become shorter and shorter. So in those days, we write abstract 500 words. Now maybe 200 words, later 100 words. And some good journal is become 50 words. So it's become less and less. So introduction. Introduction is an important part. Normally we write introduction. Of course, first we prepare on figures. After you do, if you decide to write paper, after you do research, do some research, you prepare figures. When you have figures, and you know the result, and then you can write introduction. You cannot write introduction without the result first. So you need to, so the introduction should have a problem statement. You need to introduce your topic, and then you need to highlight the problem in the topics. So you need to have problem statement, you need to highlight the problem, and then you need to explain about the previous work to solve the problem. You tell the previous work how to solve the problem, and later you need to tell the previous work is not good enough. they have many limitations. Limitations of the current approach. And then you propose, you introduce your approach. Okay, and then you explain about the methodology. Okay, so all these things now we have ChatGPT, so you can ask ChatGPT for each section. You can write, okay. And the second part of the publication is on methodology or experiment or simulation. This should be the easiest section to write. This is very easy to write. The objective is actually so that other people can repeat our experiment. If people read our methodology and they can repeat the experiment, mean our methodology section is very good. Okay, so this the easiest part to write. And result and discussion. Result and discussion, as I said, we prepare the figures. You have 5 or 6 figures. So in this section, we explain the figure. When you put figure in the paper, you need to explain in appropriate depth. But of course, certain figure you can explain more, certain figure, because sometimes we cannot interpret the result. So of course, you try your best. Don't worry about the mistake. Some people, they can, because the important we cannot lie. In paper is like we need to explain logically, okay, based on the principle of science. And whether the explanation is right or wrong is not our job to determine. That one, the job of reviewer, the job of referee, okay, because so don't worry so much. Some people, they worry they can explain, they didn't submit the paper. You need to submit paper and then the referee will give the better explanation to you. So this section is like you explain every figure that you prepare. Okay. And of course, in publication, the appearance count mean the figure that you prepare must be very clear, must be professional, especially with the higher impact of the journal, so the better figure that they want. So one figure should have a lot of information. So a lot of information, not only one line of graph. In one graph, you have many, in one figure there, you have many graphs inside there. So they must give a lot of information. And image must be clear, the font size must be readable. Mostly a lot of paper from Indonesia, sometimes they put Indonesian language in the graph. Okay. Okay, so we need to reduce the mistake. We don't make this type of mistakes. So writing conclusion is like abstract is reverse. Maybe you need to put a future inside at the last sentence. The application or the conclusion in the last section. So it's like abstract, the same thing you can. Okay, reference should be the new reference, should be the new, the within 5 years. Okay, getting help is important because we cannot see our mistake, but our friend can see our mistake. So we need to ask people to read our papers. So this is very important. Listening to the reviewer comment. So you need to answer. The most difficult part is actually to answer to the reviewer comments. So normally we get the revisions. So we need to try to answer all the comments. Okay, the basic stuff. Scientific language. So the people problem in the language. So if you are not expert, you can use all present tense, or from beginning until the end. Okay, submission. Okay then. Okay, so I think because we have limited of time, so as a conclusion summary, you need to start early in writing. So you need to read and write, always read and write. And if you remember nothing, you need to identify your key idea. In writing paper, you need to have your key ideas, and then you need to minimize the mistake in the paper. The appearance of paper must be good, and then the most important thing, we need to write because we need to share our ideas. Okay, as academician, we have a lot of idea, so we need to share all our ideas. So I think thank you very much to all. So we open electrical department, so we open for the collaboration. So we encourage the staff of Brawijaya University, I think, to send the student, and also if your staff want to come here to share the facilities, you can always come. So because in academic world, networking very important. Okay, thank you very much. That's all from me.
Thank you, Prof. Sulaiman, for a comprehensive presentation. Tanya jawab buat mahasiswa, because of time limit, we have only 2 questions for all presenter. Sorry, Bu Farazila. Tapi anak-anak boleh tanya. Bu Farazila tadi sudah menjelaskan bagaimana student mobility, kemudian anak-anak juga bisa melanjutkan, mereka punya program S2 dan S3. Ada yang menarik adalah ada program by research. How many semester the student need to finish the program by research for master?
Okay, for master, minimum is 2 semester. Okay. However, within 2 semester, you need to complete everything, which is you need to take the research methodology class, you need to defense a proposals, you need to have the candidature defense, publish 1 journals, Web of Science journal, and then need to prepare a thesis. Then finally, after the thesis is complete, we need to submit into the examiners and conduct the viva voce. Yeah, that is minimum for 2 semester. If you can complete everything, then it's eligible, meaning that less than 2 semester cannot graduate. It must minimum 2 semester and above can be graduate. Okay. Yeah.
Berarti anak-anak bisa minimal 2 semester. Dan dari Prof. Sulaiman, 1 quote of the day hari ini, collaboration is friendship. Ya, jadi mungkin ini mengawali diskusi kita nanti setelah ini. Jadi anak-anak boleh bertanya. Silakan raise hand di Zoom. Nanti ada Mbak Miko ya dengan Mbak Lia. Tolong sebutkan namanya, tolong sebutkan nama, atau mungkin anak-anak bisa langsung bertanya langsung. Boleh bertanya dengan Bu Farazila atau dengan Prof. Sulaiman. Silakan. Bisa dilihatkan Mbak Miko, sudah ada yang bertanya Pak? Karena tadi dari Prof. Sulaiman menyampaikan tentang penulisan jurnal. 1 catatan penting anak-anak bahwa menulis jurnal gambarnya harus clear dan jelas. Terkadang saya kalau meriksa jurnalnya mahasiswa, kadang-kadang tulisannya nggak terlihat sama saya. Jadi mungkin itu hal penting yang mungkin. Dan satu lagi, menulis itu harus dimulai, jangan besok. Kita mau workshop beribu-ribu kali, kalau tidak pernah memulai menulis tidak akan pernah ada hasilnya. Jadi menulis tuh harus mulai. Ini bukan ke mahasiswa saja sih. Jadi menyampaikan pada diri sendiri bahwa kalau mau menulis, tulis mulai, karena kita workshop berkali-kali tidak akan ada tulisan. Karena mahasiswa tidak ada, silakan 2 pertanyaan ternyata dari Pak Wadek dan maaf Pak, saya lupa samping Pak Agung. Pak Didi. Saya persilakan dulu Pak Indradi. Terima kasih. Silakan Pak Indradi.
Terima kasih. I have a question regarding the master and bachelor by research. Doctoral degree. So you have a master and doctoral degree by research.
Yes, we have master engineer science by research and PhD by research. We don't have PhD by coursework or mixed mode.
Oh, so only by research. Okay. And in terms of master, you have master by coursework and also master by research.
Yes, correct.
So is there any difference in terms of the entry space requirements? Yes.
Okay.
And also could you explain more about the PhD by research in UM?
All right. Okay, I talk about the master by research and master by coursework. Okay, basically, there is no differences in terms of entry requirements, which is the student must at least have the bachelor degree in engineering or any related fields. Okay. Some students, because why we have coursework, because some student is a working adult. So they wanted to have more technical knowledge, but not in too depth. That's why they opt to master by coursework, because it's only classes and then exam, then you complete. In master by coursework, they have they have 1 projects at the end of the semester. Okay, which is 2 semesters. That is the master coursework. Okay. By research, there is no class, only 1 class. This is methodology. The focus usually, because some students, they wanted to be an academic. So master by research is a platform for the students to train as a researcher, because the topic is more narrow and deep. That's why in terms of requirement, master by coursework is easier for graduations. Master by research is more difficult, because they need to publish 1 journal paper.
1 journal.
Yes.
And about the PhD by research? Okay,
PhD by research, in UM, we don't have like specific PhD, like PhD in material science. We don't have. We have only PhD, but under that PhD too, they have a certain code that represent their fields, because this apply under the Ministry of Higher Education. They call it the NEC code. They have like a general code and specific code. So based on that, it classify where is the student specializations. Okay, so we only call Doctor of Philosophy. Okay, so in Doctor of Philosophy, the graduation requirements is 2 journals paper.
And you still have a course in the PhD by research?
Okay, PhD by research, we only have 1 course, research methodology.
Okay. And the credit is how many?
3 credits.
3 credits.
It's only there is no ABC. Only actually they have grade, because we already changed the we call it kaedah dan peraturan. Okay, any courses that have a code must have the grade. So previously only pass or fail, but now they have the grade ABC, but it's not counted in anywhere.
Okay. Okay. And how many credits to finish all the PhD or master?
We don't have the reflection on total credit, but according to the quality, the QMQA for PhD, if I'm not mistaken, is total 72 credits or 80 credits. I don't remember the actual credits. For master by coursework, the total credit 42, because they have subjects and we have a total credits.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Terima kasih Pak Indradi. Silakan Pak Didi.
Thank you, Bu Femi. It's great.
Mbak Femi, Pak.
Oh yes, sorry. I do apologize for that. Yeah, thank you, Mbak Femi. It's a great honor and distinct privilege for us to have Professor Sulaiman and Associate Professor Farazila and also Associate Professor Dr. Andriana the Brawijaya University. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Didi Artono. I'm the head of the International Office, Brawijaya University. Well, I was really impressed that your university has very high ranking in QS 70. So it's, meanwhile we have now it's about 800 plus. So it means that we have to learn a lot from your university. I have one question for each speakers. I do apologize for that. First to Associate Professor Pak Andri. You explained that you have already had 6% of the international students. Well, meanwhile, in Brawijaya University, we have 70,000 students, and we have 2% of the international students. It's about 1,000 and almost 400 students. And then you have 9% of the international lecturers, and we have only less than 1% of the international lecturers. And wow, so 70. I'm still amazed. So my questions to Pak Andriana is what is the strategy to achieve that high rank in QS? Meanwhile, we have our strengths as well as our weaknesses, that we have very big number of students, which is 70,000 students total for the students body. And then that was the first question. And the second question to Professor Sulaiman. Well, you just explained very detailed and vivid. I love that, sir, and it's very comprehensive explanations. My question is related to how to manage you said that it's read, and also how to manage some students to be able to be our assistant, and they'll be able to produce their own publications. That's how to manage that, sir. And then the third questions to Ibu Associate Professor Farazila. Well, very comprehensive explanation as well. Well, our rector here assigned us in the international office that, well, it's possible to have not only the faculty exchange, but for the international inbound students, but also for the international adjunct professors. Well, Pak Andris has already explained that you've got 9% of international lectures. I believe that's including the international adjunct professor, right? So my question is how to build to construct the foundation to have the good networking with some other international universities. Thank you. Terima kasih, Mbak Femi.
Ibu juga nggak apa-apa, Pak.
Oh. Terima kasih, Bu Femi.
Baik, terima kasih Mbak Femi ya. Untuk pertanyaan pertama dari Pak Didik ya kepada saya, perkenankan saya mungkin untuk memberikan jawaban untuk pertanyaan pertama ini mengenai bagaimana sebenarnya strategi UM sampai UM itu bisa dapat di ranking 100 gitu ya. Sebetulnya ini kalau yang saya lihat, this is a very long journey, ya. It's a really long journey. And when I joined university in 2009, so we were in the process transforming the university to become the real international research university. Yeah, and then we had a strong leader at the time who really have a clear visions that would like to bring the university among the top 100 university in the world at the time. Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, in 2010 or 2009, UM was above 200 or 170. Yeah, we're not yet in 150 even. Yeah, perhaps about 200. So there were clear visions from the top management, the vice chancellor, that we had set a target, and then for that, at that time, to materialize that visions, the vice chancellor has made a bold move to the ministry, requesting a significant amount of funding. Yeah, significant amount of funding to the ministry with the sole purpose to make university among the top 100 university in the world within, I think, 5 years at a time. Yeah, the target was in 2015. So the request was approved, and then there were some funding given from the government. And then with that funding, actually university made really a lot of transformations. We work, we transform our, internally we transform our facility. We transform our evaluation method, means that the KPI, because it is a comprehensive transformation. It's not only about improving the research facility, but how to improve also research culture, how to bring in a lot of good people to the university, the academic staff, the student with that funding. So lots of things with that. And then together with that, actually, we are given opportunity for the research. At the same time, as I mentioned, there was also new regulations in terms of the KPI, key performance indicator. So become very strict, very oriented toward the research, because it is considered as aligned with the main objective to really go into 100 universities in the world. Yeah? It wasn't easy. There were a lot of oppositions, a lot of concern, disagree about the way how it was done. But what we see now, actually, we enjoy really what the effort that have been taken at the times. And we finally managed to become the top 100 in the world. So it was really actually a long journey, I would say. Yeah. Prof.
If I could add the point that Dr. Andri, during that time, the students, they make a scheme, they call it the Bright Sparks. They give high allowance to the students that could produce a paper. I think the student can get up to 3,500 ringgit Malaysia. I'm not sure in Indonesia how much per month, but their KPIs is very high. Like in 3 years, they need to publish at least 5 to 10 papers. Yeah.
Cukup ya Pak Didi, Mbak Miko, buat anak-anak yang ada di Zoom, mohon maaf karena waktunya sudah mendekati Jumatan. Anak-anak boleh bertanya tentang student mobility ataupun yang sudah dibahas oleh Prof. Sulaiman dan Bu Farazila melalui Bu Rini, ataupun kalau di teknik mesin bisa saya, atau mungkin di beberapa departemen nanti ditanyakan kepada ketua departemen siapa anggota IRO di tiap-tiap departemen. Jadi kalau saya semua sama Bu Rini nanti chatnya penuh. Terima kasih. Thank you Prof. Sulaiman and Ibu Farazila for the informative and interesting presentation. Terima kasih buat anak-anak, all the participant for your participation. Terima kasih, semoga ini bisa membawa manfaat buat kita semua. Sebelum kita akhiri, mungkin nanti dua speaker, Prof. Sulaiman dan Bu Farazila akan mendapatkan sertifikat. Iya, sertifikat dan dari Fakultas Teknik akan diwakilkan oleh Bapak Wakil Dekan Bidang Akademik. Silakan. Untuk itu sekalian saya mengakhiri diskusi ini buat mahasiswa. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Terletak di dataran tinggi di Pulau Jawa, Kota Malang terkenal sebagai kota pendidikan dengan cuaca yang sejuk sepanjang tahun, wisata alam yang menakjubkan, dan bangunan bersejarah yang ikonik. Pada tahun 1963 di Kota Malang diresmikan Universitas Brawijaya dan menjadi salah satu perguruan tinggi terkemuka di Indonesia. Sebagai himpunan sumber daya pendukung yang menyelenggarakan dan mengelola pendidikan akademik dan atau pendidikan profesi dalam satu rumpun,
baik dari Fakultas Teknik Universitas Brawijaya maupun dari Fakultas Teknologi Pertanian. Dan kami juga mengucapkan terima kasih kepada Direktorat Kerjasama dan Internasional telah berkenan hadir pada siang hari ini, maupun segenap pimpinan Departemen Program Studi. Dan tentunya kami ingin mengundang terhormat kepada segenap Bapak Ibu yang hadir pada siang hari ini. Monggo dipersilahkan untuk dapat bergabung pada jamuan makan siang.
Menghadapi dinamika pengelolaan pendidikan tinggi di masa depan yang semakin meningkat, Fakultas Teknik Universitas Brawijaya siap menghadapi tantangan untuk mencapai tujuan pada era industri 4.0 dan era society 5.0 dengan mengedepankan semangat kerja tuntas dan berintegritas. Fakultas Teknik Universitas Brawijaya juga fokus pada penyelenggaraan sistem pendidikan yang inovatif dan aplikatif untuk meningkatkan daya saing mahasiswa dan menghasilkan lulusan yang unggul dan berkompeten. Pencapaian prestasi dan peningkatan reputasi juga dilakukan melalui kolaborasi dan sinergi. Kegiatan penelitian dan pengabdian kepada masyarakat menjadikan Fakultas Teknik yang inovatif, kolaboratif, dan berdaya saing internasional. Sejalan dengan profesionalisme dan integritas, Fakultas Teknik Universitas Brawijaya akan terus berkontribusi bagi kemajuan masyarakat dan pembangunan nasional Negara Kesatuan Republik Indonesia. Together, we do the best.
Untuk menjamin terlaksananya harmonisasi antar unit kerja, pencapaian kinerja yang optimal dan rekognisi di tingkat nasional maupun internasional, Fakultas Teknik senantiasa melaksanakan sistem penjaminan mutu internal yang meliputi penetapan, pelaksanaan, evaluasi, pengendalian, dan peningkatan program-program kami secara berkesinambungan. Sesuai dengan standar nasional pendidikan tinggi, kami selalu memastikan tercapainya kualitas pendidikan yang sangat baik melalui target akreditasi nasional dan internasional. Seluruh program sarjana kami telah terakreditasi unggul atau A oleh BAN PT atau LAM Teknik. 2 program studi telah tersertifikasi terakreditasi internasional dari AUN-QA dan IAB. Setiap tahun, Fakultas Teknik menerima sekitar 1.300 mahasiswa yang akan menuntut ilmu pada 8 program sarjana, 7 program magister, 4 program doktor, dan 1 program profesi. Kami memiliki 18 guru besar aktif, 132 doktor, dan 272 dosen dengan reputasi unggul pada penelitian dan publikasi ilmiah. Terdapat juga 63 laboratorium untuk mendukung kegiatan pendidikan dan penelitian oleh dosen maupun mahasiswa. Fakultas Teknik berkomitmen untuk terus meningkatkan kompetensi dosen dan mahasiswa, terutama menghadapi era digitalisasi. Sembilan departemen yang bernaung di bawah Fakultas Teknik adalah Departemen Teknik Sipil, Departemen Teknik Mesin, Departemen Teknik Pengairan, Departemen Teknik Elektro, Departemen Arsitektur, Departemen Perencanaan Wilayah dan Kota, Departemen Teknik Industri, Departemen Teknik Kimia, Program Studi Program Profesi Insinyur, Program Magister di Fakultas Teknik, Teknik Sipil, Teknik Mesin, Teknik Pengairan, Teknik Elektro, Arsitektur Lingkungan Binaan, Perencanaan Wilayah dan Kota, Teknik Industri. Program Doktor di Fakultas Teknik, Ilmu Teknik Sipil, Ilmu Teknik Mesin, Teknik Sumber Daya Air, Teknik Elektro. Fakultas Teknik banyak menyediakan fasilitas-fasilitas untuk mendukung suasana akademik yang meliputi ruang kelas yang memadai, ruang diskusi yang nyaman, laboratorium, perpustakaan, tempat ibadah, kantin, pusat olahraga, dan pusat kegiatan mahasiswa. Fakultas Teknik mempunyai BEM, Badan Eksekutif Mahasiswa, Himpunan Mahasiswa, Departemen dan lembaga semi-otonom sebagai wadah untuk melaksanakan kegiatan kokurikuler dan ekstrakurikuler mahasiswa, terutama dalam bidang minat, bakat, dan kesejahteraan mahasiswa sesuai dengan aspirasi mahasiswa yang disalurkan melalui organisasi yang ada. Fakultas Teknik dipercaya akan semakin berkembang melalui kerjasama dengan berbagai stakeholder. Program pertukaran pelajar, double degree, program visiting profesor, kolaborasi riset, dan kolaborasi konferensi internasional. Fakultas Teknik mendorong seluruh sivitas akademika untuk mendapatkan prestasi yang baik di bidang akademik maupun non-akademik. Prestasi dosen berupa paten atas inovasi penelitian meningkat setiap tahunnya. Para mahasiswa juga memperoleh prestasi yang membanggakan di tingkat nasional maupun internasional dengan semangat inovasi dan kolaborasi. Lulusan Fakultas Teknik Profesional, tangguh, siap membangun negeri dan meningkatkan kesejahteraan masyarakat. Fakultas Teknik Universitas Brawijaya akan bekerja keras memberikan prestasi terbaik untuk pembangunan berkelanjutan Negara Kesatuan Republik Indonesia.
Satu, dua, tiga, teknik.
Kunjungi kami di teknik.ub.ac.id.